Hello, welcome everyone. Today we're gonna start Tuesday 21 May 2019 Mathematics Paper 1 Non-Calculator Hierarchy. So let me start. First question says there are only blue cubes, red cubes and yellow cubes in a box. The table shows the probability of taking at random a blue cube from the box. The number of red cubes in a box is the same as the number of yellow cubes in a box. Complete the table. So first thing is we have blue, right? The probability of picking blue cubes is given to us. And what they're asking, the red cubes and yellow cubes, we have to fill, but definitely we need a relationship. And that relation is given in this line. The number of red cubes in the box is same as the number of yellow cubes. So if I assume that the probability be x, then probability of picking yellow be x as well. And we know the sum of all the probabilities in a given experiment is always equals to 1. Suppose if I flip a coin, getting a tail plus getting a head, what is the probability of getting a tail plus the probability of getting head is equals to 1. If I roll a dice, definitely when I roll a dice, I can equally get, I'm talking about the unbiased. Then there is a probability of getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and each of the probability will be equal and add up to will give you 1. So it doesn't matter whether it's a biased or unbiased, the sum of the probabilities will always be equals to 1. So now that means of getting blue, red and yellow, the sum should be 1. 0.2 plus x equals 1. We can say 0.2 plus 2x equals 1. Shift it here, we'll get 2x equals 1 minus 0.2, which is 0.8, and x is equals to 0.8 over 2, which is 0.4. So I can say probability of getting red is 0.4 and probability of getting yellow is also 0.4. Now looking for part B. Part B says there are 12 blue cubes in the box. 12 blue cubes given here. That means there are 12 blue cubes. We don't know the total number of cubes in the box. So we can say let y be the total number of cubes. If simple, okay, general, the question is calculate the probability of picking blue cubes. So what we will be writing? How many ways by which I can pick a 12, or you can say one blue cube out of 12. So it will be 12 over total number of cubes. Simple how we calculate probability. Your event and total number of possible outcomes. So probability of picking blue is 12 out of y number of cubes. This is already given equals to 0.2. From here I can say y is equals to 12 over 0.2, which will be 60. So I can say the total number of cubes is 60 because we have calculated y to be 60. Next, Dion needs 50 grams of sugar to make 15 biscuits. She also needs 3 times as much as flour as sugar, 2 times as much butter as sugar. Dion is going to make 60 biscuits. Work out the amount of flour she needs. See, the important thing given is we just have to move like in a reverse order. The first thing is it says that we have to calculate the amount of flour she needs. For 60 biscuits, it's given as she needs 50 grams of sugar for 15 biscuits. 15 biscuits, she needs 50 gram of sugar, which means for 60 biscuits, because 60 is 4 times 50. So definitely sugar will be 4 times. So it's going to be 200 grams of sugar. Next, 3 times as much she also needs. 3 times as much as flour as sugar. So 3 times of it, directly we can do the 3 times because if in 15 it's 3 times, in 60 is also it's going to be 3 times. So 3 times of this is 60 grams of flour. So how much flour she needs? 60 grams. 600 grams, sorry. Dion has to buy all the butter she needs to make 60 biscuits. She buys the butter in 250-gram packs. How many packs of butter does Dion need to buy? Okay, now coming for the butter, it says 2 times as much butter as sugar. Sugar is 200, so butter is gonna be 200 times 2, which will give you 400 grams. So she needs 400 grams of butter to make 60 biscuits, and she buys 250-gram pack. If one is 250-gram, how much she needs? It's 400 over 250. Obviously, it will be 1 point something. So she can't buy 1.5 packets. If you're gonna buy something like chips packet, you can't purchase 1.5 chips. So obviously, it's gonna be 2 she needs. Okay. So answer would be 2. Find the highest common factor HCF of 72 and 90. Highest common factor, which means you have to find the common factor. First thing is you have to find the factors of 72 and 90 separately, and then you have to look out the common factors. Okay. So first, by factor tree method, you can find the factors of 72. So 72 is definitely the smallest prime number that can divide 72 is 2. When you divide 72 by 2, remaining is 36. Okay. Then again, there are 2, you can say. The smallest prime number is 2 and 36 by 2 is 18. Again, for 18, there are 2 factors. The smallest prime factor is 2 and 18 by 2 is 9. The smallest prime number that can divide 9 is 3. And 9 by 3 is 3. So all the prime numbers are 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. If you're going to multiply all of them together, it's going to be equal to 72. For 90, again, if you use the factor tree method, you can get 3 times 3 times 2 times 5. Now what you have to do is, you just have to find the common factor. So 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, and 3. So 2 times 3 times 3. 80. So HCF is 80. Question 4. The diagram shows the plan, front elevation and side elevation of a solid shape drawn on a centimeter grid. Centimeter grid, which means every block is represented by 1 centimeter. In the space below, draw a sketch of the solid shape. Give the dimensions of the solid on your sketch. See, this is the top part. This is the front one and this is the side one. Obviously, the three-dimensional figure that seems to be, and that we can see a circle from the top, a square kind of from the front, and a square rectangle or a square from the side, basically is none other than a cylinder. That means we are supposed to draw the 3D figure, which is a cylinder, and dimensions are already given to us. That means the radius of this circle will be 2 centimeters. So radius of the cylinder would be 2 centimeters as well. And height is given as, the front elevation is giving us the height and the side is also giving the same height, which is 5 blocks, that is 5 centimeters. So our cylinder is a circle of 2 centimeter radius and height of 5 centimeter. Dimensions are what? 2 centimeter radius and 5 centimeters height. Shape A can be transformed to shape B by reflection in the x-axis, followed by the translation C, D. Find the value of C and value of D. Basically, our shape is A and it is transformed to B by a reflection in the x-axis. In the x-axis, this is our x-axis, okay, and followed by a translation. So first we have to find the reflection of this. Reflection is what? Take one point and draw a perpendicular line to the mirror line. Mirror line is this line. This red line is mirror line. We always, if we see the image, take an example of a mirror. If you see a mirror, definitely it's a virtual image or literally inverted image that you will see, but it will always form behind the mirror. And whatever be the distance of the object from the mirror, the image and the mirror's distance will also be same. Exactly we are supposed to do here. Suppose this triangle is an object standing in front of a mirror. This mirror line is your mirror. So this point has 2 centimeters of distance, 2 centimeter, 2 blocks of distance. So image will also be 2 blocks beyond it in the same line. That means here, this is gonna be your point. Similarly, pick the next point and draw the perpendicular line and see how much is it away from the mirror line. It's 2 blocks. So similarly, it's 2 blocks away. And now this last point is 5 blocks away. That means 5 blocks away from the mirror line in backward direction. This is your third point. What you're supposed to do is just join them together. Then this is being translated. That means take this point for translation. A single translation or single transformation, if you want to calculate, it's very simple. If you want to know, you have your actual image, you have your translated image. What you need to do is just take one point and corresponding point. Okay, don't pick any other point, just corresponding point, and see how can you reach from this original point to this translated point. You have to move in x-axis. How many units? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 units you are moving left side. Left side of x is always negative. So negative 6. And then 1 unit downwards, which means negative 1. So x is, C is negative 6 and D is negative 1. A shop sells packs of black pens, packs of red pens, and packs of green pens. There are 2 pens in each pack of black pens, 5 pens in each pack of red pens, 6 pens in each pack of green pens. On Monday, number of packs of black pens sold, ratio number of packs of red pens sold, ratio number of packs of green pens sold is 7:3:4. A total number of 212 pens were sold. Work out the number of green pens sold. See. The first thing given is there is a shop that sells the pack of black, red, and green pens. And already it's given that how many pens are there in the packs. So 2 pens in each pack of black. Okay. 5 pens in each pack of red and 6 pens in each pack of green. On Monday, number of packs of black pens sold. Number of packs. Okay. That means whenever there is a ratio given and if you want to convert it into number, always multiply the ratio with the x. Because suppose if I want to calculate the ratio of 16 and 20, what it would be 16 over 20, and I'll cancel out with 4, get 4 over 5. Ratio is 4:5. 4:5 are not an exact number, not the real numbers. Real numbers were 16 and 20. 4:5 is the number we get after the simplification. And that's why when we have to convert the ratios into actual number multiplied with x. Because we don't know that number. We can say that number of packs of black pen is 7x. Number of packs of red pen sold is 3x. And number of packs of green pen sold is 4x. Okay, these are number of packs, not the number of pens inside the pack. Number of packs. So number of packs of black is 7x sold, for red 3x sold, and for green 4x sold. And total number of pens were sold. Okay, not total number of packs. Total number of pens were sold. So if there are 7x pack of black pens sold and we know each pack has 2 pens. So multiplied it by 2. So this will be the total number of black pens. Total number of black pens. Similarly, if I want to calculate total number of red pens, it would be number of packs sold 3x and each pack has red pens, which is 5. And similarly, total number of green pens. Packs were 4x and each pack has 6 green pens. So we have total number of black pens as 14x, total number of red pens as 15x, and total number of green pens are 24x. and total pens were sold. That means all together is equals to 212. So 14x plus 15x plus 24x is equals to 212. From here, we can calculate it as 53x is equals to 212 and x is equals to 4. If x is equals to 4, what they're asking you, work out the number of green pens sold. Total number of green pens were 24x. That means 24 times 4 will give you 96. Here are two rectangles. QR, if you can see this one vertical and the horizontal rectangle. The dimensions of the vertical one is given as QR is 10 centimeters and BC is equals to PQ. Okay, this whatever this is equals to this. So let I say this is x, so this is going to be x as well. The perimeter of ABCD, this one, the perimeter is 26. Perimeter we know sum of all the sides. Sum of all the sides, which means AB plus BC plus DC plus AD is equals to 26 centimeters. And we know that in rectangle opposite sides are equal. So I can say, if I say this is y and this is x. So simple, 2x plus 2y is equals to 26 and divide both the sides by 2, you'll get x plus y is equals to 13. Why I have simplified it? Because it will help in better calculation. It's a non-calculator paper and that's why we always try to find the simple calculation. Okay, we don't want any calculation mistake. The area of PQRS is, we know the area of a rectangle is length times width. Here length is given as 10 and width is x. This is equals to 45. It's very easy to calculate x from here, which is 45 over 10. That is 4.5. We have x. If we have x, that means it's the same x because we just saw that BC is equals to PQ. Put the value of x here for this rectangle. You'll get 4.5 plus y is equals to 13. So y would be 13 minus 4.5, which will give you 8.5 as your answer. 8.5 centimeters. Work out an estimate for the value of root 63.5 times 101.7. See, estimation, which means since it's a non-calculator paper, if it would be a calculator paper, there would be no problem, right? You just put that in calculator and get the answer. But here it's a non-calculator paper. That means that's why you are supposed to estimate it. Estimation, when there is a root, we have to estimate the nearest perfect square. Perfect square, that means whose root can be calculated, whose root should be an integer. That means suppose if I ask you the root of 4, it's 2. That means 4 is a perfect square. Root of 9 is 3, perfect square. Whenever root of a number is an integer, which means no decimal number. That means it's a perfect square. So the nearest perfect square of 63.5 is definitely 64 because root of 64 is 8, which is an integer. So I'll write 63.5 as 64. And the nearest integer or nearest perfect square of 101.7 is none other than 100. So we can write it as 8 times 10, which is 80. So this is your estimation. Next is 2.3 whole to the power of 6 is equals to 148. Correct to 3 significant figures. Find the value of 0.23 whole to the power of 6. Correct to 3 significant figure. Okay, that's why this information is given to us. If 2.3 whole to the power of 6 can be written as 23 over 10 whole to the power of 6 is equals to 148. From here, I can write as 23 whole to the power of 6 is equals to 148 into 10 to the power of 6. What I did, I just cross multiplied it. Similarly, try to simplify it. I can write as 23 over 100 whole to the power of 6 or 23 to the power of 6 over 100 to the power of 6 or 23 to the power of 6 over 10 to the power of 12 because 100 can be written as 10 to the power of 2 whole 6 and we know indices a to the power of m whole to the power of n is a to the power of mn. So multiply the powers, you will get 10 to the power of 12. We just calculated from the given information is that 23 to the power of 6 is equals to 148 10 to the power of 6. Here, write 148 into 10 to the power of 6 over 10 to the power of 12. Now, it's what? Same base, different powers, but in division. A to the power of m over a to the power of n is e to the power of m minus n. You will get 148 into 10 to the power of 6 minus 12. Answer is 148 into 10 to the power of minus 6. And you have to write correct to three significant figures. So to three significant figures, you can write it as 0.000148. Find the value of 5 to the power minus 2. See, e to the power of negative 1 is just reciprocal. Numerator will go in denominator and denominator will go in numerator. And the negative sign will change to positive. That's why we are doing, because we want to change the negative power. Similarly, 5 to the power of negative 2 can be written as 1 over 5 squared, which is 1 over 25. Work out 3 1 by 2 times 1 3 by 5. Give your answer as a mixed number in its simplest form. So 3 1 by 2 can be written as 3 times 2 6 plus 1 7 by 2 times 5 times 1 plus 3 8 by 5. This you can write as, on simplifying, you can write it as 28 over 5, which can be written as, in simplify, if you simplify it, you can write 5 5 3. It's very simple. Just 28 over 5. 5 times 5 25 3. So your denominator remains same. Your remainder will, you have to write up there, and remaining number will be here. The graphs with equations 3y plus 2x is equals to 1 by 2 and 2y minus 3x is equals to negative 113 over 12 have been drawn on the grid below. Use the graph, find estimates of the solution of simultaneous equations. See, simultaneous equations, which means the set of equations for which value of x and y are same. Doesn't matter how many equations are given, they all share the same value. So if two equations are given, that means both the equations have same value of x and y. Same value x and y you will get on graph where they are intersecting, because wherever they are intersecting, this point is common for this line as well, and this point is common for this line as well. Other than it, all points are different, right? There is no common point that they both are sharing. They are sharing the common point only where they are intersecting, and that's why the answer will be wherever they are intersecting. Estimation is because you're not going to get an exact integer value. So estimation would be here. This is your point. Let me draw horizontal and vertical line for the better answer, better estimation. From here, draw the vertical line to get the value here. There are 10 blocks between 2 and 3. That means each block is of 0.1 value. This is 2 blocks after 2. That means 2.2. Your value of x is 2.2. And for y, we have to draw a horizontal line. Again, there are 10 blocks. Each block represents 0.1. So negative 1, and there are 3 blocks. That means negative 1.3. So this is your value. A bus company recorded the ages and years of the people on coach A and the people on coach B. Here are the ages of 23 people on coach A. 41, 42, these data are given. And these are the ages of 23 people on coach A. Complete the table below to show the information about the ages of the people on coach A. And here is the information about the ages of the people in coach B. So what we have to do is, we just have to arrange them in ascending order, which they have already arranged. So we need not to worry on that part. Median is the middle value. For if you want to calculate the median, there are two ways by which you can calculate. First is you have to use the formula method, or second is just see the middle point. I think the best is you use the formula method. If the number of data is odd, then value will be n plus 1 by truth term. This is the formula to calculate median if the number of data is odd. For even, there is a different formula. So n plus 1 over truth term. N is 23, so 23 plus 1 by 2, which is 12th term. 12th term is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That means 59 is our median. Write 59 here. Similarly, if the age or the number of data is odd here, lower quartile formula to calculate lower quartile is n plus 1 by 4th term. Let me write down for the number of data which is odd. Even has a different formula, keep in mind. Odd has a different formula. For odd, median is equals to n plus 1 by second term. For lower quartile, it's n plus 1 by 4th term. And for upper quartile, n plus 1 times 3 by 4th, because median is halfway. Quartiles are quarter, so 1/4. So starting first fourth is lower quartile, and the third fourth, that's why 3/4 is your upper quartile. Lower quartile is n plus 1 by 4, n is 23, 23 plus 1 by 4, which is 6th value. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lower quartile is 53. And now use the formula for upper quartile. N plus 1 times 3 by 4, which is 23 plus 1, 3 by 4. You'll get 18th term. 18th term is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18th is 66. Your upper quartile is 66. Now let me see part B. It says Richard says that the people on coach A are younger than the people on coach B. And is Richard correct? And you must give a reason for your answer. Okay, coming back to this one. And let me see what they're asking. It says Richard says the people on coach A are younger than the people on coach B. How can we calculate whether they are younger or not? It's simple by comparing their median ages. We have calculated median here as 59. And here median is 70. Obviously, it's lesser, even way lesser than in coach B. That means, yes, they are younger. Richard says that the people on coach A vary more in age than the people on coach B. Varying. It's not about we're talking about the range, the variation. So is Richard correct? And you must give your answer and the reason. If you want to calculate the spread is basically your interquartile range. Okay, interquartile range tells us about the spread of something. We have calculated, now let me see, we have calculated median as 59, lower quartile 53, upper quartile 66. Interquartile range tells us about the spread. Okay, how much data is spreaded or range or variation. Variation, exactly. So interquartile range is upper quartile minus lower quartile. 66 minus 53 will give you 30. Whereas if you do this one, upper quartile is 73, lower quartile is 54. Your answer is 19. Question was, he was saying that Richard says people on coach A vary more. Definitely they are not varying more. Obviously, in coach B they are varying more because 19, they have more interquartile range. More interquartile range, that means more spread. More spread, that means more variation. So more variation is, that means coach A are varying more. So he's wrong. Here are the three spheres P, Q, R, and you can clearly see that they are differing in their dimension. The volume of sphere Q is 50% more than the volume of sphere P. Okay, so one condition given, let us say the volume of P is X. So the volume of sphere Q is 50% more than the volume of P. 50% of, not 50% more. That means it's 1.5x. 100 already plus 50, 50% more over 100. That means 1.5x. So Q is basically 1.5x of P. Volume of sphere R is 50% more than the volume of Q. That means again R is 1.5 of Q. So 1.5 times 1.5x, which is 1.5 squared x. Find the volume of sphere P as a fraction of volume of sphere R. As a fraction, that means where volume of P over volume of R. Volume of P is x and volume of R is 1.5 whole squared x is equals to 1 over 1.5 squared. But obviously your fraction should be in simplified form, not in decimal. So I can write it as 15 over 10 whole squared. That is 1 is equals 1 over 3 by 2 whole squared, which is equals to 1 over 9 by 4 or 4 by 9. So your final fraction is 4 by 9. Always if the question is give the fractions, never give your fractions in your decimal form. Always try to give your answer in fractional form. This is more appropriate. Given that n can be any integer such that n greater than 1, prove that n squared minus n is never an odd number. We have to prove it can never be an odd number. So first thing is just simplify it or factorize it. So take out n as common, remaining is n minus 1. N times n minus 1. It says n can be any integer greater than 1. Greater than 1, that means suppose if I take that this is gonna be 2. So this will be 1. You'll get an even number. Okay. Suppose I take this as 3. So this is gonna be 3 minus 1, 2, which is also an even number. Or simply what you can do is n times n minus 1. Doesn't matter. Suppose n is, there can be only two possibilities. If you think, because this is how you have to prove it properly. First case is case 1. N is an odd number. Obviously, in numbers, either you will find odd number or even number. Okay? Because it's greater than 1, all the numbers greater than 1 are either categorized as odd number or even number. There is not any third category. So that's why there will be two different cases. Case 1 is when n is odd. When n is odd, this is your odd number multiplied by n minus 1. Every odd number is followed by the even number. So n minus 1 is always going to be even number. Simply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Odd numbers are 7, 5, 3. N minus 1, that means 3 minus 1, even number. 5 minus 1, even number. 7 minus 1, even number. Even if you take 9. 9 minus 1, even number. Whenever you subtract 1 from an odd number, you will always get an even number. That means n minus 1 is obviously an even number. And the product of odd and even is always even. This is, in first case, we have proved that the product is going to be even. Let me see the case 2. Case 2 is now we suppose n is an even number. If n is an even number, that means n times n minus 1. This is even. And again, even minus 1 is always odd. So even minus 1, 3 is odd number. 6 even minus 1 is odd number. So whenever you subtract 1 from an even number, you'll always get an odd number. So n minus 1 is odd number. Again, the product of even and odd is even. So it doesn't matter which case you are taking, you always get the product to be an even number. That's why it can never be an odd number. Question number 14. Find the exact value of tan 30 degrees times sine 60 degrees. It's very simple. You have to learn the table. Because it's a non-calculated paper again, so you have to learn few of the values. It will help you. I'm starting with sine 0, sine 30, sine 45, sine 60, and sine 90. Learn only these values. If you will be able to learn only 5 values, then tan and cos are very easy to learn. Sine 0 is 0 and sine 90 is 1. Because we know if we draw a sine curve, it moves like this. So you can clearly see it starts from 0 until 90 degrees, because this is 90, this is 180. It will reach to its peak, and the maximum value of sine is always 1. So this is 1. This is 1 by 2. This is 1 by root 2 and root 3 by 2. So only you're supposed to learn only 3 values: sine 30, sine 45 and sine 60. So 0 and 1 are very easy to remember. Only sine 30, 1 by 2, 1 by root 2 and root 3 by 2. Now comes for cos 0, cos 30, cos 45, cos 60, cos 90. Move in a reverse order. Reverse order, which means 0 will be here, 1 by 2 here, 1 by root 2 here, root 3 by 2 here, and 1 here. So as I told you, if you'll be able to learn these values, cos is very easy. And there is a relation between sine, cos and tan. Tan theta is equals to sine theta by cos theta. So if you want to calculate tan 30, it will be the value of sine 30 over cos 30. So if you want to calculate sine 0, tan 0 will be sine 0 over cos 0. 0 divided by 1 will give you 0. Tan 30 is 1 by 2 over root 3 by 2 will give you 1 by root 3. You just need to divide these values. Sine 30 over cos 30. 1 by 2 over root 3 by 2. Sine 45 and cos 45, they both have same value. If you divide, you'll get 1 as your answer. So tan 45 is 1. Sine 60 over cos 60, you'll get root 3. So tan 60 is root 3. And tan 90 is sine 90 or cos 90, which is 1 over 0, is not defined. So either you can write infinity or not defined. Now we have to pick the values and multiply it simply. So tan 30. Tan 30 is what? 1 by root 3 multiplied by sine 60. Sine 60 is root 3 by 2. So 1 by root 3 multiplied by root 3 by 2 will give you 1 by 2 as your answer. Question 15 says the diagram shows a solid shape. The shape is a cone on the top of a hemisphere. The height of the cone is 10 centimeters given. The base of the cone has a dia 6 centimeters, which means radius is going to be 3 centimeters. The hemisphere has a dia of 6 centimeter. Obviously, the base of the cone and the hemisphere has the same diameter, which is 6 centimeter. So the radius of this hemisphere is also 3 centimeters. The total volume of the shape is k pi centimeter cubed, whereas k is an integer. You have to work out on the value of k. And the most simplest thing is they have already given you the formula. So formula of volume of a sphere is 4 by 3 pi r cubed, whereas volume of a cone is 1 by 3 pi r squared h. You just need to add the volume. Total volume is what? Volume of cone plus volume of sphere. So volume of cone is 1 by 3 pi r square h, whereas radius is 3 centimeters and height of cone, vertical height of cone is given as 10 centimeters. Just put the values. Since in your final answer they have given the answer in terms of pi, so don't put the value of pi, leave it as it is. So 1 by 3, r squared is 9, h is 10, pi. Answer is 30 pi. So total volume of a cone is 30 pi. Let me calculate total volume of a sphere. So 4 by 3 pi r cubed. Radius is 3 centimeters. So 4 over 3 pi, 27. This is 36 pi. And add there, it will give you k pi. So 30 pi plus 36 pi equals k pi. That is 66 pi is equals to k pi. From here I can say k is equals to 66. Question 16 says, there are 3 dials on a combination lock. You can see this one, and this one. Each dial can be set to one of the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 3-digit number 553 is one way the dial can be set as shown in the diagram. Work out the number of different 3-digit numbers that can be set for the combination lock. So 3-digit numbers, that means 1, 2, 3. And how many numbers do we have out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Why they have given us the example of 553? That means one number can be repeated. That's why they have given us example. So number can be repeated. That means in the first box, out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can fill all the 5 numbers, right? I can fill 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. That means 5 different numbers I can fill. Since repetition is allowed, that means in the next box also I can fill the 5 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. And in the third box, since repetition is allowed, you can fill 5 as well. So if you can fill like this, that means the total combination will be 5 times 5 times 5, which is going to be 125. This is how we can calculate the combinations. Part B says, how many possible 3-digit numbers we can use having 3 different digits. 3 different digits, which means the number can't be repeated. That means out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if in the first one, what I can do, I can pick 5. Obviously, there can be 5 numbers. Out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can pick any of these numbers. But since repetition is not allowed, that means suppose if one number we have already chosen, doesn't matter which number, but if one number we have already chosen, that means now the total combination, the total numbers remaining are 4, because one I have already used. So we have now 4 numbers. Out of 4 numbers, how can I fill here? All the 4 numbers I can fill. But after filling one number here, the remaining numbers are 3 here. So I can fill 3 numbers here. Let me repeat it. Suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm giving an example. Suppose I'm making a number that started with 2. If I have filled 2 here already, because in the first one, I can pick any number. I'm free to pick any one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can pick any one. But after picking one number, 2, I can't repeat. That means what are the remaining number that I have now? 1, 2, 3, 4. That means out of these 4 number, I can pick any number. I can pick 1, 3, 4, 5. Okay, say for example, I picked 4. That means what the remaining numbers are? Now I had 3 choices only remaining. And that's the reason that I had the 5 choices at the beginning. For the second one, I had 4 choices. And for the third, I have 3 choices. Multiply them all together. Answer is 60. So if repetition is not allowed, it's going to be 60. But if repetition is allowed, it's going to be 125 combinations. Given that x squared over 3x plus 5 is 1:2. Basically, the ratios are given and it says that both ratios are actually equal, but you are supposed to calculate the value of x. It's an algebraic function. Simple. X squared ratio 3x plus 5, that means we have to divide it. So x squared divided by 3x plus 5 equals 1/2. Now just cross multiply. This is the simplest way. So 2 will go up there with x squared and 1 will go there with 3x plus 5. 2x squared is equals to 3x plus 5. Clearly, it's a quadratic equation. So bring all the numbers on one side. 2x squared minus 3x minus 5 equals 0. Either use quadratic formula method or completing the square method or factorization method. It can be solved with any value, with any method. What I'm going to do is I'm just using the factorization method. Meanwhile, I'm clearing the factorization method. The 2 things that you have to keep in mind is that this is the case where A is not equals to 1. So don't do that method where just A product should be equals to C, sum should be equals to B. And suppose you have chosen 2 number 2 and 3. So you did x plus 2, x plus 3. No. It is the case when a is equals to 1. A, which means the number with x squared is 1. There you can use that. But when a number with x squared is not equals to 1, you have to use the conventional method. Conventional method, actually this answer you get from that conventional method. But We actually skip 2-3 steps and directly jump to this step. But when you are doing conventional method, when a is not equals to 0, you have to follow each and every step. First thing is, product is not equals to c. Product is always equals to a times c. A times c, that means if I'm gonna compare it with the standard equation, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Clearly, a is 2 here, b is negative 3 here, c is negative 5 here. Product of two numbers should be a times c. There, say for example, if I'm writing this equation, here a is equals to 1. And that's why when I multiply a times c, it's just equals to c. Because a is 1. But here, in our equation 2x squared minus 6 minus 5, clearly a is not 1. And that's why product should be equals to 2 times negative 5, that is negative 10, a times c. Sum is definitely equals to b, which is negative 3. Now, what you need to do is, you just have to think the two numbers. Their sum is negative 3, product is negative 10. What two numbers are? Okay, it's gonna be negative 5 and positive 2. Then, don't do this method like directly you write x minus 5, x plus 2, and you will get your answer as x equals 5 and x is equals to negative 2. That's wrong. We have to move to the conventional method. Conventional method says splitting the middle term. Just split the middle term. Middle term is this one. That means in place of negative 3x, I have to use negative 5x plus 2x. That's why we have calculated the two numbers. So 2x squared minus 5x plus 2x negative 5. We can see that x is common here. So 2x minus 5 and just one common number, there's 1. Okay, because 2x minus 5 has nothing common. So take out 1. 2x minus 5. Now we have two terms. This is one term, this is second term. Clearly 2x minus 5 is a common number. So 2x minus 5. And if I take out 2x minus 5, the remaining in the bracket would be this x is remaining and this 1 is remaining. So I can say that 2x minus 5 equals 0. So x1 is 5 by 2. And x plus 1 is equals to 0, x is equals to negative 1. The two possible values of x that we have calculated is minus 1 and positive 5 by 2. Question 18 says express root 3 plus root 12 in the form of a root 3 where a is an integer. So simple, you just have to simplify it. Root 3 you can't simplify it further, but root 12 you can. The best way is you just have to prime factorize the number. Doesn't matter which number is a bigger number, smaller number, just prime factorize it by factor 3 method. Root 12 can be written as 2 times 2 times 3. Pair can be taken out as a single number. Two 2's you can see here inside the root. That means take out 1 2. And this 3 has no pair. So this will remain inside the root. So in place of root 12, I can write 2 root 3. Root 3 plus root 3 is 3 root 3. Okay, how I got that? Root 3, you can think root 3 as x. X plus 2x is what? 3x. If you are adding same thing, or root 3 is a banana. This is 1 banana plus 2 banana is 3 banana. That's why it's 3 root 3. We have converted it into this form where a is an integer and a is what? 3. Express 1 over root 3 whole to the power of 7 in the form of root b by c where b and c are integers. So you have to express in this form 1 over root 3 whole 7 can be written as 1 to the power of 7 over root 3 over 7. That means 1 to the power of any power is I always give you 1. Root 3 whole to the power of 7, that means what? You can write it as root 3 whole to the power of, or simple. One thing, you know that root 2, root which means it's 1 by 2 power. Root 3 which means it's 1 by 3 power. So root 3 in indices form can be written as 3 to the power of 1 by 2. whole to the power of 7. 1. So 1 by 3 to the power of 7 by 2. Or I can write it as, because I need to simplify it, so I can write it 1 by 3, 6 by 2 plus 1 by 2. Okay. Now, obviously, 7 by 2 can be written as 6 by 2 plus 1 by 2. 6 plus 1, 7. 7 by 2. Why I wrote it? Because I want to split something that can be divided by 2 easily. Suppose it's 7 by 4. So, I would be writing 4 by 4 plus 3 by 4. Okay, why I have split it? Because I want something that can be divided by your denominator. So the number that can be the smaller number than 7 that can be divided by 2 is 6. I can write 1 by 3 to the power of 3, because 6 by 2 is 3, plus 1 by 2. You'll slowly get to know why I did that. So 1 by 3 to the power of 3 plus 1 by 2. There is simple, we know a to the power of m multiplied by a to the power of n is a to the power of m plus n. When I'm adding two powers, that means base are same, we are multiplying them. So if we go reverse, that means a to the power of 3 plus 1 by 2. If I go reverse, I can write as a cube plus a to the power of 1 by 2 multiplied. It means the same. So I can write as 3 cube multiplied by 3 1 by 2, which can be written as 1 by 27 root 3. Now we have to convert in this form, and we know that surd cannot be in denominator. Okay, we always have to rationalize it. Rationalizing, that means dividing and multiplying it by root 7. So I'm writing right here. Once we reach here, I need to divide and multiply it with root 3. When I do that, I'll get root 3. 27 times 3, that is root 3 over 81. And where b and c are integers, that means your b is 3 and c is your 81. In this way, you can solve it. And there is another method also, because it's root 3, root 4, not cubic root, square root. Square root, that means I have to make pairs. Simple. Root 3 times root 3 is 3. If I multiply it to 4 times, that means one pair will give me 3, second pair will give me 3. So here root 3, I have to multiply root 3 7 times. This is an alternate method. 7 times, that means one pair will give me 1 3, another pair will give me 1 3, another pair will give me 1 3, root 3. So it's gonna be 1 by 27 root 3. Rationalize it. Root 3 over 81. Given that x squared minus 6x plus 1 is equals to x minus a whole squared minus b for all values of x, find the value of a and the value of b. So x squared minus 6x plus 1, you have to convert. This is completing the square method. Actually, it's that form. You have two different methods. They are quite similar to each other, but I always prefer this formula method. I'm just going to give you a simple formula. If you go by this, you will never get a wrong answer. So it says x minus b by 2 whole squared minus b by 2 whole squared plus c. Simple. It's very easy to remember. This is your standard equation where ax squared plus bx plus c. If I'm going to compare it, I get a equals 1, b equals negative c, 6, and c is equals to 1. Just put that in this formula. This will definitely automatically convert this whole format in this form. So b is minus 6. So minus 6 by 2 whole squared minus 6 by 2 whole squared plus c is 1. So this is going to be x plus 3 whole squared minus 3 whole squared is 9 plus 1. That is x plus 3 whole squared minus 8. I told you it's very simple. The formula is very simple to learn. It's very simple to execute and you will directly get this format. You can clearly compare a is going to be -3. Okay, because x minus a is equals to 3. That means a is -3. And minus b is equals to -8. That means b is equals to +8. So the part second says that write down the coordinates of the turning point of a graph. If a graph equation, only equation is given, you can calculate the turning point. So first thing is, if you want to get the coordinates of a turning point, you have to convert this in this format. X plus a whole squared plus b. That's it. X plus a whole squared plus b, where negative a comma b will give you turning point. After converting it in this format, we just converted into x plus 3 whole squared minus 8. Clearly, my a is 3. If I'm going to compare it, leave the previous format. They were asking for a different format. Our format should be this one for turning point. We got this one. So on comparing this our format, A will give me 3 and B is -8. Turning point is -a comma B. That means my turning point is -3, -8. Now h is inversely proportional to p. P is directly proportional to root t. Given that h equals 10, t equals 144, where p equals 6, find a formula for h in terms of t. One by one, pick the sentence and try to convert them in mathematical terms. So h is inversely proportional to p. H is inversely proportional to p. Okay, done. P is directly proportional to t. P is directly proportional to t. Done. Given that h equals 10, t equals 144 and p equals 6, and you have to find a formula for h in terms of t. So simple, convert them. So h is equals to k by p, and whereas p is equals to n root t. Okay, consider this n and k are our constants. Put h is equals to 10, p is equals to 6. So k is equals to 60. So you get h is equals to 60 by p. We have one equation in terms of h and p. Next is p is equals to n root t. P is equals to n root t. That means p is now 6 n and t is 144. We know root of 144 is 12. So 6 is equals to 12 times n and n is equals to 1 by 2. I have n, I have k. So just put n here. P is equals to root t by 2. Clearly, I have two different equations. One in terms of p in terms of t, one h in terms of p. We want h and t. That means I need to remove p. Obviously, here p is root t by 2. So what I can do, just substitute this value right here. So h is equals to 60 over root t over 2, or h is equals to 60 over root t into 2. Obviously, this 2 will go up there. Why it will go up there? Because we know 60 divided by root t by 2. And you have learned in your younger ages that if whenever we are dividing any fractions, this division sign will be converted into multiply and this will get reciprocal. That means 2 will go up there, root t will go down there. That's why this will become. So h is equals to 120 by root t, and this is your final form. The functions f and g are such that fx is 3x minus 1 and gx is x squared plus 4. Find f inverse x. F inverse x, that means our focus should be this one. So fx is equals to 3x minus 1. To convert something in inverse form, what you have to do, we know that fx is what? It's actually y. Okay, and that's why fx is equals to y. Replace fx y because y is basically a function of x. That's why we write y as fx. Something that is function of x or something that is dependent on another variable. So we count it as the function of. Suppose I'm saying n is equals to k squared plus 3. Clearly n is dependent on k. So I will write n as function of k. Y is equals to 3x minus 1. If I want to calculate inverse, that means now I have to make x the function. Previously, y is my main subject. I need to make x the subject. How can I do that? Y plus 1. Obviously, I need to transpose it here and divide both the sides by 3. Y plus 1 by 3 is equals to x. Okay, this is called f inverse x. Y is fx and x is f inverse x, and replace y with x. So f inverse x is x plus 1. Now it says that fgx is equals to 2gfx, and you have to show that 15x squared minus 12x minus 1 is equals to 0. So fgx, that means f is a function of gx. That means we know that fx is equals to 3x minus 1. That means if I put x is equals to 1, I need to put x here. 3 times 1 minus 1 will give me 2. Whatever I'll put here, I have to put x here. Similarly, if I write function gx, that means my x is equals to gx. In place of x, I have to put gx. So wherever in this equation I can see x, I have to write gx. Minus 1. And what is gx? Gx is x squared plus 4. So fgx is what? Gx is x squared plus 4 minus 1. So 3x squared plus 12 minus 1, that is 3x squared plus 11 is my final answer. That is fgx. Okay, this is 3x squared plus 1. Now 2gfx. We have calculated fgx. We have to calculate gfx. Similarly, we have to do the same. If here I'll write g2, that means wherever I can see 2x, I have to put 2. Similarly, I have to do the same. That means wherever I can see x, I have to put fx. So x is equals to fx. So gfx is fx whole squared plus 4. And fx is 3x minus 1. So 3x minus 1 whole squared plus 4. This will give you 9x squared plus 1 minus 6x plus 4. Or 9x squared minus 6x plus 5. Equating fgx is equals to 2gfx. That means fgx is 3x squared plus 11 and 2gfx is 2 times 9x squared minus 6x plus 5. So 3x squared plus 11 is equals to 18x squared minus 12x plus 10. Or bringing everything on one side, 3x squared here, 11 here. So I'll get 18x squared minus 3x squared minus 12x plus 10 minus 11 equals 0, which is 15x squared minus 12x minus 1 equals 0. And we have shown that it's same. There are only R red counters and G green counters in a bag. A counter is taken at random from the bag. The probability that the counter is green is 3 by 7. The counter is put back in the bag. 2 more red counters and 3 more green counters are put in the bag. A counter is taken at random from the bag. The probability that the counter is green, 6 by 13. Find the probability or find the number of red counters and the number of green counters that were in the bag originally. So first thing is, we have to write down, we have to interpret each and every sentence and write in a mathematical form. There are only red counters and G green counters in a bag. So we don't know the number of red and green counters, but we can write them. So how many red counters are? And G counters are G. A counter is taken at random from the bag. The probability that the counter is green. We know that green counters are G. Okay, number of green counters, it can be 10, 12, 13, but since we don't know, so we have named it as G. And R as R. So total number of red counters are R, total number of G counters are G. That means total number of balls are G plus R. So suppose you have picked one green counter. So out of G, that is total, there are event is green counter. So I have to pick one from G and I have picked from total, the total sample space. That means total possible outcomes are G plus R. Simple. Suppose there are 3 green balls and there are 4 red balls. and I have to pick one green ball. What will be the probability? Because I can pick one out of three green, and the total possible are 4 plus 3, that is 7. So I'm not saying necessarily this is going to be red or 3 red or 4 green or whatever, 3 green, 4 red. I'm just giving you an example. So similarly, if the number of green balls are G, so G would be in my numerator, and total number of balls are counters are G plus R. So this is going to be G plus R equals 3 by 7. This will be my one equation. Now the counter is put back in the bag. That means now the number remains same. If there is no replacement, which means suppose there were 10 balls, 10 counters in a bag, and I have picked one, remaining are 9. Because there is no replacement. But if that counter is put back in the bag, that means previously it was 10. I have chosen one, but I put one back. That means 10 remains 10. So it doesn't matter how many balls I'm picking, the total number remains the same. 2 more red counters and 3 more green counters are put in there. Originally there were G green counters. 3 more are put in a bag. That means now the green counters are G plus 3. And 2 more red counters. That means now the red counters are R plus 2. A counter is taken at random from the bag. The probability that a counter is green. G by 3. Again, if I'm picking green, so G plus 3 out of G plus 3 plus R plus 2. That means G plus R plus 5. This is equals to 6 by 13. What I have to do is I need to use the formula. Simple. I need to use the formula or these two equations. Simple. These two are simultaneous equations. Solve these two equations to get the value. So let me solve it quickly and see the number of green and red balls. So using those two equations, we have to solve G over G plus R is equals to 3 by 7 was our first equation. And second equation was G by 3 plus G by R plus 5 is equals to 6 by 13. If you cross multiply it, you will get 7G is equals to 3G plus 3R. Bring it here. You will get 4G is equals to 3R, and you will get G in terms of R, which is 3 by 4R. This is our first equation. Now solving this one, doing the same thing, that is cross multiplication. So it's going to be 13G, plus 13 into 3. This is what I'm doing. 13 times G plus 3, and here 6 times G plus R plus 5. You'll get 13G plus 39 is equals to 6G plus 6R plus 30. Bringing G there, you'll get 7G minus 6R plus 39, and bring 30 there as well, minus 30 equals 0. 7G minus 6R plus 9 is equals to 0. So G is 3 by 4R. So in place of G, put 3 by 4. 7 into 3 by 4 R minus 6R plus 9 equals 0. 21 by 4R minus 6R is equals to, if you bring 9 here, negative 9. This will give you 21R minus 24R over 4 equals negative 9. That means this is negative 3R over 4 is equals to negative 9. Cross multiplying, negative 3R is equals to negative 36. R is equals to 36 over 3, which will give you 12. So number of red balls are, the original they were asking, so number of red counters are 12. Now we have one relation, that is G is equals to 3 by 4R. So in place of R, put 12, you'll get 9. So number of green counters are 9, and number of red counters are 12. So we have done all of these questions. You have to revise whatever we are doing, whatever I'm explaining you, and try to do questions basis on of these questions, what are basically on these types of questions. So that's it for today, and we'll be meeting in the next paper. Thank you.